Namaste, assalamu alaikum, shalom, buenos dias, ni hao, namaskeno, akwaba. What up, dope? This is the weekly meeting of Wowium Kavitkahik, a global federation of villages. I'm preparing notes for it. Oh. The hour is siete. The hour is seis. Wow. 6:29. Greenwich Mean Zone. Effectively. It is day 26 of month uno of year 123 after the commencement of the Parliament of the World's Religions, year 70 after the founding of the United Nations. It is day numero 5 of the week and day numero 6 of the new moon, and this weekly meeting of our William Kavitgig, our Global Federation of Villages, is called to order. And we begin with a blessing. May all beings be well. We continue with the recitation of our mantra from the preamble of our compact. We, the sentient beings of our Woyam Kavitgahik, our Global Federation of Villages, observe the antiquated institutions and systems facilitating convention, and we believe we can do better. We recognize the historic and contemporary harm we cause each other, and we are dedicated to do better. We are dedicated to reconciliation. The wisdom of our ancestors, prophets, and sages tells us we do better by exercising compassion towards each other and all life. This begins by fundamentally respecting all beings, all life, all phenomena. And this continues through enhancing the wellness of all beings and all life, steadfastly as universal citizens. We are better learning that when we do this, we also enhance our own respective individual wellness. Thus, we reconstruct our institutions and systems. To be proficiently compassionate and transcendent. This includes our institutions and systems of religion, government, education, health, finance, commerce, socialization, and additionally. We fundamentally challenge previous precepts, theories, laws, and methodologies of selfishness. We declare a new age of compassion. And whilst our new institutions and systems supplant the antiquated institutions and systems, we facilitate this process with maximum peace, humility, stability, efficiency, and compassion. We practice wealth ethos, including Ahimsa, Ubuntu, Veritas, Haya, Shu, Maka, Huga, Samadhi, Shema, Shabono, Narab. The preceding text is provided for this purpose. Love and peace. So the attendance for our meeting today, Peter Johansson OCC is on the books. There's an absence of any urgent or emergency topics or propositions today. And that brings us to the minutes from the previous meeting. The previous meeting is convened a week ago at hour 0:16 on day 19 of month uno of year 123 after the founding after the commencement of the Parliament of the World's Religions, year 70 after the founding of the United Nations, day 5 of the week, and day 13 of the full moon. Blessings recited, mantras recited for attendance. Peter Johansson CC is on the books. There's an absence of any emergency or urgent propositions. The minutes are read, the agenda is read. All business includes consular immunity, particularly within the experience here in the heights of Cuyahoga. Another topic is social networking platform. Another topic is collective agenda communication, as well as fair trade for monks. New topics include global fair trade, vegan organic marketplace, as well as MEGA, Mixed Ethnicity Global Alliance, which includes that organization's United Nations proposal and approach towards international government organizations for the establishment of a declaration of the rights of mixed people, as well as a census of the mixed diaspora, the global mixed diaspora. That's old business and new business. The local village briefs for within our United Village. There's mention again of the consular immunity, the village experience, vote of co-op development, as well as certain tests that are conducted, social tests, cosmic tests about our presence here, our residence here. So circumstances being positive overall. So for announcements, I mentioned the recent occurrence at that point of Feast, as well as the current experience at that point of Elul and Juma approaching, Navatri approaching, with Juma Feast within the Baha'i faith, Elul within Judaism, Juma within Islam, Navatri within Hinduism, and additional traditions from the Indian subcontinent, as well as Amavasya, which is basically just a new month within the Hindu calendar, the Bikram Samvat calendar. The Upasada Day within Buddhism, Shabbat within Judaism, and Sunday worship within Christianity, as well as further in the week, Rosh Hashanah and Rosh Chodesh within Judaism, and Gandhi's birthday, the Gandhi Jayanti, a few days ago, and as well as Diwali approaching later on in the month. So for the benediction, I for benevolent news, I sing Nobody Knows, as well as Song for the Sia, the World Ethos chant, as well as Peace Prayer Song. The benediction is recited and the meeting is concluded at 1:12 Greenwich Mean Zone. So those are the minutes. That brings us to the agenda for today. So the big item for today's topic, or today's agenda, is Plurality Platform, which is the social networking platform that I referenced previously, as well as the Gift Cove, which is connected with that as well, dealing with the initiatives regarding fair trade, vegan, organic, as well as kosher and halal products. There's an update regarding that. Description of Mega, particularly it's a evolving approach towards the United Nations for again the declaration of the rights of mixed people and the global census, but additional advocacy. So that's that. Additionally, on old business includes includes the completion of the agenda correspondence, reaching out to particularly AI offices in our respective locations to discern what priorities are. And then fair trade for monks is a continuing intention, and following up with consular immunity, approaching other nations specifically for such, as well as intergovernmental organizations. And even approaching friends, with the consideration of friends becoming consulates in other locations. So there's that, and then for that's old business for the most part. Thus, there's an absence of new business effectively. And then for UNI local village brief, there's the intention of sharing that accordingly. So that's pretty much the agenda. So there's that. So for old business, again, Plurality Platform. This is the social networking platform that I described over the past few weeks. Initially, the move is made to establish Spruce as a network on Spruce. However, amidst some additional developments and progression, the intention or there is a transition from Spruce to Ning, which is one of the options that's initially considered. Ning has an increased amount of capacity, a little bit additional polish, even what may be perceived as credibility, or at least an enhanced comfort level amongst the general public, seemingly. And so for those additional reasons, the transition is made. The platform is in the process of construction at the moment. There's a big idea or a big vision for it, in a modest way. Just a broad vision is probably a better word to describe that. So the consideration is having many channels different foci or focal points, but also making it interactive and member friendly as well. So there's that process of development for just the construction of it. A big part of it also is Gift Cove, which is actually intended to be discussed later on. Um, Gift Cove is basically the fair trade, uh, the global fair trade, vegan, organic, kosher, and halal um, kind of infrastructure or network, a system, economics period. Um, and so uh, it's a continuation from previous discussions in previous weeks, and intended to be included within this Plurity platform. So I intend to give additional details about that later on when we get to that point, that topic heading. So, in addition to that, there are additional development plans for the platform, letting it grow organically, being unpressed about it, and about getting members and um, cultivating um, pervasive or huge participation or whatever is just basically sharing a content, basically being a kind of like a concentrated or a dedicated uh, social networking platform. Um, part of that dedication is pluralism, cosmopolitanism, globalism. So it includes multiculturalism, and diversity that brings together multiple communities. So that's all part of what's intended with the Plurity platform itself, but also with Gift Cove as a global fair trade, kosher, halal, organic, vegan marketplace. So the logistics of that are still coming together, but that's the basic. That's what it is. Um, so I'm going to leave Gift Cove. There are a number of details with this. I'm uncertain how much I share about this in the previous meeting, but basically the idea is promoting fair trade as well as vegan, organic, kosher, and halal. Sharing information with members and participants about suppliers, distributors internationally, but also within people's respective locations, particularly within our respective locations of our Wolwe and Kavitgahik. And um, uh, Enhancing that experience, enhancing the efficiency, the affordability, the offering, all within that experience. And so, the idea with the social networking platform, at least initially, is simply to share posts about suppliers, share lists, links, product offerings, reviews. Um, I'm like giving myself instructions at the moment. So, uh, as I mentioned, sharing supplier lists, as well as product offerings, reviews on products and suppliers, links to products and suppliers, as well as profiles of cultivators and strengthening the cultivator-consumer connection. And then also member promo codes. So the idea is the potential of charging people to access this portion of the platform that has a lot of this information. But other than that, just the promo code. So the idea is going to suppliers, opening accounts, establishing connections, relationship with the suppliers, and through that, um, being provided with a promo code to give a discount to members of our Plurity platform. And that promo code may change on a monthly basis per the continuing membership subscription of participants. Again, the idea is to work without money, and so the membership is simply requiring maybe a certain number of co-op credits from Voda Co-op or from someplace else, but something that has some tangibility, but without being monetary. So that's much of what's happening with that front. There's still some details to iron out with that, but that's the basic gist of it. So going on to the next item. MEGA. So basically, to be brief, MEGA is a mixed ethnicity global alliance. I mentioned this before. There is a campaign, so to speak, for MEGA to approach, or for MEGA, to approach IGOs, international government organizations, effectively with like something like observer status. That's the term that's utilized within the United Nations system. And maybe observer mission with different international government organizations or intergovernmental organizations like the African Union, the European Union, the ASEAN. I want to say INASUR. There's a similar intergovernmental organization amongst the southwestern quadrant of the Earth, the National Congress of American Indians, the Assembly of First Nations, the American Indian Movement, and additional intergovernment organizations that are about building bridges. In addition, even if maybe well, there's that. So approaching such organizations. IGOs, as well as the United Nations and conventional nations, with similar solicitations and proceeding accordingly. So that's much of what's on the old business agenda. Admittedly, as I mentioned before, I have little availability over the past week and expectation of little availability for working on this and within the next week or dose. So I just put that there for consideration. That being said, that's much of old business and new business. I mentioned the agenda correspondence, contacting the offices in our respective locations with Energy International, continuing with fair trade reforms, continuing with consular immunity, and additionally. So there's that. That brings us to village briefs. For our UNI village, we continue building the experience of village here amidst the very strong historic culture of separatism and individualism. We are working towards cultivating this experience of village, whilst also being considered antithetical just because of who we are in our own ancestry, which is rather ironic and actually sad. But there's that consideration. again, there's some tests that are conducted, social cosmic tests. There's actually also some antagonism that's communicated, and there's also a lot of welcome and compassion that is shared within our UNI village within the past week. Um, and the Sona Ashram continues to develop. Votive Co-op continues to develop. Um, so circumstances are positive overall. That being said, um, that brings us to attendance. Again, Peter Johansson CC is in the books. There's no sin of emergency urgency proposition. The minutes are previously read. The agenda is just read. The old business includes plurality platform. Um, I already mentioned, I already shared that basically. Um, Another item of old business includes gift code. I shared that one already. Another item of old business includes mega mixed observer status with NGOs, United Nations. So that's a work in progress, obviously. It has less of an urgency, so um, it's just organically being what it is. So that's regarding our local village brief. Regarding Mega, so I mentioned before the initial consideration of approaching the UN with a solicitation for establishing a global census of mixed people, which seems very logical and actually very feasible and a modest ask. But in terms of getting support from our mixed community and particularly friends involved with institutions that are connected in one way or another with Mega, there's just been very little responsiveness. Um, so again, the intention is approaching IGOs that are increasingly accessible, that may be increasingly amenable to making accommodations for an observer status of our mixed ethnicity global alliance. So again, that's a work in progress, and I intend to pursue that as I'm able, with modest expectations over the next week or dose. So that's what's happening with Mega. That brings us to announcements for this meeting. So as I mentioned, within the past week, there's Rosh Hashanah. Within Judaism, there's Muharram, which is also the beginning of the new month. Within Islam, there's the Upasada Day. Within Buddhism, um, that's also observed by Gandhi, Miss Gandhi Jayanti. Um, and approaching is Navatri within Judaism, Yom Kippur within Judaism, Sukkot within Judaism, as well as the feast and Diwali. So again, comparatively religious specific. So that's what's on the agenda for next week. Um, that brings us to benevolent news, and I'm going to try to stay awake. So at this point, I'm kind of settling on sharing those songs for each meeting. One song is the Wat Ethos chant, so giving a brief explanation of the different terms and what we mean and how we apply that to Wat Ethos, as the Sona Ashram does. But also, um, uh, strengthening respect and resolution amidst the approaching observance of Navatri within Judaism, Yom Kippur within Judaism, and Sukkot within Judaism, as well as feast and Diwali that are approaching within the next few weeks or so. So those are the announcements. So implications for meeting next week. I intend to. I'll share that at this moment. So the next meeting is scheduled for day 3 of month dos, of Year 123 after the I'll share the details later when we get to that point. But the next meeting, and then a benevolent news, those chant as well as peace prayer song, and then a benediction. So with all that, yikes. The first item of all business includes plurality. I pretty much go over that already. I feel like I'm having deja vu in a Twilight Zone moment. I'm so tired. So it helps to share load. Somebody shares that wisdom beforehand. So that's part of the reason for these live streams. I mentioned stuff with Plurality platform and Gift Cove and Mega, the old business with each of those, as well as that with anyway. So I think I also say the announcements as well for the next week. So again, the next meeting is scheduled for the day 3 of month 2 of year 123 of the Interfaith calendar. And that is year 70. Wow. Next meeting is scheduled for year 70 of day 5 of the week and day 13 of the new moon. I'm just gonna leave it at that because I'm waiting with my awakeness. So that's pretty much the agenda for this meeting. So getting into it, all business plurality. As I mentioned, this is the social networking platform. It's in conjunction with a number of additional endeavors. It's similar to Facebook. It's a dedicated social network website, so it's quieter without the advertisements. Additional focus on the topic of pluralism and purity, cosmopolitanism, but loyalty with one's community. So all of those are general themes pervading and like bringing the elements together within the platform. So a big part of that at this moment is Gift Cove. In addition to Soul I Dare to Be, which is the kind of like the heading for a number of the organizations within which I'm involved. And additionally, so I mentioned, so there's that. That's that. Another item of old business is agenda correspondence. So I mentioned the intention of contacting offices. I have to do so. Like I say, I'm kind of occupied at the moment. So the intention is to do so eventually, but continue being mindful in that process and recognizing there's that. Continue intend to follow up on fair trade for monks. The research has yet to be conducted, and then also completing the next requirements for consular immunity, perhaps even by another nation or agency or something to that effect. So starting to wane, starting to drift off. I will share that too. As a matter of fact, I'm adding an item to the new to the agenda. As I drift off. So I'm going to share this as the last item of old business or new business. So, that's much what has to be shared for new business. So this one item of new business is the Middle Passage ceremony. So basically, the idea is to convene an annual observance similar to the Seder within Judaism that commemorates and honors the memory and the legacy of ancestors who pass away, who die within the Middle Passage of African slaves to the Western Hemisphere. So I'm in the process of constructing a poem or some bars for that, as well as the kind of like the outline and the constructs of uh, a Seder for the purposes of this uh, Middle Passage ceremony. So there's a lot. I mean, obviously, when dealing with something like this, there's a lot to unpack and kind of uh, discuss and consider and process. However, I'm sticking substantially just to the facts without delving into other kind of perceived conflicts, maybe. So, oh man, uh, there are a number of assignments that I have yet to complete with the Vote of Copa as well. But, anyways, all that is works in progress for the most part. Um, so, continuing on with the agenda, new business, Gift Cove. I'm saying that a lot in this little thing, in this hangout. Mega is emerging and precipitating some direct participation. Uh, there is the intention of following up with the agenda correspondence as well as with the Fair Trade for Monks initiative, um, and also on the back burner is the consular immunity that I mentioned before. So uh, those are the conditions that are precipitating uh, uh, additional. Well, these are considerations within the portion of the Quran for this week. Um, wow, did I just say that? I mean, wow, I am sleepy. Um, I'm uncertain why I include that. I'm kind of blurring my forums, my fora. So I should provide the Quran is relevant just as much as the Bhagavad Gita is and the Torah is and uh, the Digha Nikaya is and the Tao Te Ching is and additional holy scriptures are. So I abstain from negating that, even though as I'm drifting off, falling asleep, I'm not certain what I blurred, but I just remember saying that. So um, without negating that. Emphasizing that this is distinct. This is other than a religious forum or proselytizing form or endeavor. So, like I say, I was half asleep, and I'm just rifting or drifting and rifting, riffing and drifting. It says something. Uh, so I just provide it in context and continue on with this. And I'm going to try to wrap this up quick because obviously this is my efficacy is decreasing at the moment. I need rest. So um, I feel like I've gone through this multiple times. At this point, I'm just going to go to benevolent news and sing the World Ethos chant. I mentioned the middle passage. That is relevant. That is an item that I just add to the agenda as I continue in this thing and as I'm drifting. Um, the middle passage is just a commemoration of the uh, the experience of slavery, and but there's a universality to the ceremony, recognizing that every individual, every society, every community experiences at some point in its history as well as in its present experience middle passage, and so it's a matter of honoring the the atrocities and honoring the ancestors that experienced the atrocities, and celebrating, recognizing, celebrating, strengthening the victory that we continue to experience just by existing today, and being the legacy of that perseverance as well. So that's the basic gist of it. It has a certain specificity, culturally, ethnicity, temporally, but it also has universality as well. Why do I share that in this meeting? Um, there's some additional intentions with Mega, and in approaching IGOs, and additionally, and this middle passage is distinct. It's increasing like a cultural event and intention, but it also has certain implications for facilitating reconciliation amongst communities. That's why I share that in this forum, as I'm half asleep and just trying to get to finish this joint, this meeting. So anyway, that being said, I've pretty much gone through everything. So I'm going to just go to the next meeting is scheduled for next week, day 3 of month 2 of year 123 after the commencement of the Parliament of the World's Religions, year 70 after the founding of the United Nations, on day 5 of the week and day 13 of the new moon. That being said, I'm going to benevolent news. The benevolent news includes those songs. I mentioned, I think, before that the those songs I'm trying to settle in are just the World Ethos chant, which is included within the preamble of our compact, and as well as the Peace Prayer song, which are both chants and songs that I could connect previously. So the purpose of the World Ethos chant is just to kind of strengthen the awareness of this World Ethos, because it is a significant part of the foundation of our cooperation. So it's beneficial to have some type of a review of it in a sing-song type of manner, particularly to facilitate enhanced recollection of the principles, the meaning of the principles, the meaning of the words, and the experience and discipline of that. Then the Peace Prayer song is just kind of like a kumbaya type of thing to kind of send us off. So that being communicated, here's the benevolent news that I share. For the World Ethos channel, I give the preface. I'll say the different terms of the principles within the World Ethos, giving the origin of the language, the linguistic origin, as well as the traditional origin, and the meaning, the literal meaning, what it translates to, and then what principle is being signified by that term, and including it within this rendering of, which is the Sona Ashram's rendering of World Ethos. So there are onse principles within Sona Ashram's rendering of World Ethos. Principle numero uno is ahimsa, Sanskrit word from Hinduism meaning abstinence from violence, signifying peace. Numero dos is Ubuntu, which is a Zulu word from Southern Africa, meaning I am because you are. And we use this to describe social justice, looking out for each other. Tres is Veritas, which is Latin Greco-Roman civilization. It's a Latin word derived from, I think, also Greek, basically meaning truth. So it's the striving for honesty, truthfulness within our communication and in our striving. So that's tres. Number cuatro is Haya, which is an Arabic term, and this is from Islam, meaning modesty, pertaining to particularly to sexual ethics, but also just general modesty throughout one's endeavors. Cinco is Shu, which is from China, Chinese, which is the principle communicated by Confucius to sum up his teachings, meaning reciprocity. And we use this as signifying the golden rule, essentially. Seis is Maka, which is a Lakota term of the native people of here on Turtle Island. It means earth. It's part of the term Inamaka, Mother Earth, and it is utilized to signify care for nature, care for the environment. Siete is Huga, which is Dansk, Scandinavian. The technical or the literal translation is described as just being cozy, meaning cozy, but it exists within a context of familial togetherness and respect and cooperation in establishing an atmosphere of that coziness with those experiences and with that discipline. And so we use this to signify the experience of family, the importance of family. Numero ocho is Samadhi. Okay, that's fine. All right. So numero ocho is Samadhi. So, Samadhi is a Pali term derived from Sanskrit, which is Hindu, but in this context, it is a Buddhist term to describe meditation. We use this to do. I'm doing a lot of explanation for this. After this, I'm just going to just say what it is. So, Samadhi is meditation, taking a break, a time out. It can be prayer, meditation, reflection, just taking a break from the daily grind. Numero 10 is Shema, which is Hebrew from Judaism, literally meaning hear or to listen. It is the term of a significant prayer within Judaism, signifying the oneness of God, the oneness of the universe, of which we are all a part of, and the notion of all of us being part of a greater whole than ourselves. And so our individual respective selves. And so there's that. And then numero 10 is, I guess that was nueve. So this is numero 10 is Shobono, which is a term from the Yanomami people that live in the south, our native people from the southwest quadrant of Earth amidst the big river. And the term itself is a name referred to the community hut that Yanomami people live in as a community, but also where the decisions are made through consensus. So we use this to signify the principle of consensus building and decision making. And then the final term is Once Narab, which is from the language of the Wurundjeri people who are native to the Big Island in Oceania. And so it's utilized to describe a territory or a land, and we use it to just signify the principle of righteous stewardship. So that is what ethos. This is the chant. All that for this. Ahimsa Ubuntu Veritas Haya Shumako Huga Samadhi Shema Shabono Narab. Ahimsa Ubuntu Veritas Haya Shumako Huga Samadhi Shema Shabono Narab. Ahimsa Ubuntu Veritas Haya Shumako Huga Samadhi Shema Shabono Narab. Ahimsa Ubuntu Veritas Haya Shumako Huga Samadhi Shema Shabono Narab. Ahimsa Ubuntu Veritas Haya Shumako Huga Samadhi Shema Shabono Narab. Shabano Nura, Ahimsa Ubuntu, Veritas Haya, Shumakoga, Samadhi Shema, Shabano Nura. I bang out louder, but it's La Madrugada and people are sleeping here. So that's the chant. Next is the peace prayer song. So this is it that I do before. Salam Shalom Wolokote Shanti Hewa Mir Paz Wa Benamani. May peace prevail throughout the earth for now and evermore. May our children grow up safely in a world without any war. A part of what makes a pole for peace, it stands up tall for our release. A world of kindness and unity, a part of what makes a pole for peace. Salam Shalom, Wolokote Shanti. Hewa Mir Paz Wa Benamani. We will all dance and celebrate with every nation and race, and together we will all create a world of beauty and grace. A part of what makes a pole for peace, it stands out tall for our release. A world of kindness and unity, a part of what makes a pole for peace. Salam Shalom, Wolokote Shanti. Hewa Mir Paz Wa Benamani. Salam Shalom, Wolokote Shanti. Hewa Mir Paz Wa Benamani. May peace prevail upon earth. So that is the benevolent news and the benediction. May all beings be well. With that being said, the hour is 7:16. Greenwich Mean Zone. And this weekly meeting of our Wowium Kavitgahik, our Global Federation of Villages, is adjourned. Namaste, assalamu alaikum, shalom, adios, ajin, one, asamudwo. Love and peace.